In this second part, to the General Financial Accounting Terms section, you will learn about the variant principle, fiscal year, along with the year-independent and the year-dependent variant. You can use the variant principle, a three-step method, to assign special properties to one or more R3 objects. Variants are used mainly because it is easier to maintain properties which are common among several business objects. Once a variant is defined in an SAP system, the same variant can be assigned to several business objects. In SAP, variant principle is used for field status, posting periods, and fiscal years. While creating a fiscal year variant, the following steps should be performed. Step number 1 is you must define the variant, and K4 is the fiscal year variant. Step number 2, you populate the variant with values, so define the properties for fiscal year K4. And step number 3, you assign the variant to R3 objects. So assign K4 to various company codes that use this fiscal year. Let's move on and learn a little bit more about the fiscal year. The fiscal year is defined as a variant which is assigned to the company code. The company's fiscal year corresponds to the calendar year. Accounting management requires at least 4 special periods for posting year-end closes. And the fiscal year variant contains the definition of posting periods and special periods. So let's have a look at special periods. Well, special periods are used for postings which are not assigned to time periods, but to the process of year-end closing. In total, 16 periods can be used. The system derives the posting period from the posting date. When the posting date falls within the last normal posting period, the transaction may be posted into one of special periods. In order to ensure that you can compare the closing months with the other periods of the fiscal year, you should make closing postings in special periods. SAP allows a maximum of 16 posting periods each fiscal year. This normally comprises of 12 regular posting periods and 4 special posting periods. The 4 special posting periods could be comprised as follows. Period 13 as accrual/deferral postings. Period 14 as audit postings. Period 15 as general meetings of shareholders. And lastly, period 16 as adjustment postings. In the example shown on the slide, the fiscal year has 12 posting periods and 4 special periods. If the posting date falls in the 12th period, the transaction can be instead posted in one of the 4 special periods. And note, information regarding whether a period is open or closed is not included in the fiscal year variant. This is maintained in another table. The fiscal year variant only defines the amount of periods and their start and finish dates. Next, let's understand a little more about the year-independent and year-dependent variants. If each fiscal year of a fiscal year variant uses the same number of periods, and the posting periods always start and end at the same day of the year, the variant is called year-independent. A fiscal year variant has to be defined as year-dependent if the start and end date of the posting periods of some fiscal years will be different from the dates of other fiscal years, and or if some fiscal years shall use a different number of posting periods. Let's dig into the year-independent variant a little more. A year-independent fiscal year variant can be defined as the calendar year and a non-calendar year. If the fiscal year is defined as a calendar year, the posting periods are equal to the months of the year. Therefore, a calendar year variant must have 12 posting periods. If the fiscal year is defined as a non-calendar year, the posting periods need to be defined by assigning ending dates to each period. A non-calendar year can have between 1 and 16 posting periods. If the non-calendar year does not start at January 1st, the posting periods of the year which belong to the former or the coming fiscal year must get an annual displacement indicator, such as -1 or +1. The example on the slide shows a non-calendar year with 6 posting periods which goes from April to March. The months January to March, therefore, still belong to the old fiscal year and need to have the annual displacement indicator -1. If the fiscal year differs from the calendar year, but the posting periods correspond to the calendar months, the day limit for February should be set to 29 to cater for leap years. And fiscal years are normally year independent. Next, let's learn a little bit more about year-dependent variance. A year-dependent indicator has to be set if fiscal year is changing from one year to the next. If all of the years of a year-dependent fiscal year variant have the same number of periods, only the different period dates for the different years have to be defined. Consider the example shown on the left of this slide. If one year of a fiscal year variant has less posting periods than the others, it is called a shortened fiscal year. Now consider the example shown on the right-hand side. This could be required if closing has to be made before the end of the normal fiscal year. For example, if the beginning of the fiscal year should be changed or if the company was sold. The shortened fiscal year and its number of posting periods have to be specified before providing definition of the period dates. For this year only, a lesser number of posting periods can be assigned. Congratulations, you have reached the end of this section. The next section deals with the basics of SAP Financial Accounting.